Welcome back to the channel. Thank you guys for hanging out and joining me once again for another review video. And you can see in front of me, I have three different boxes. These are the SuperBox streaming boxes, and we have everything in the S7 lineup. This is going to be your Pro, your Max, and of course your Ultra. This is not a comparison video, but there are small differences between these boxes. For all intents and purposes, they're identical. The Ultra is the one that we're going to be focusing on today. You can pick your poison. The only differences between these three boxes are the size of your onboard storage. This one, for example, is 32 gigs, 64 gigs in the Max. Last but not least, we have 128 gigs on the Ultra, but it also comes with a backlit remote. These are the only differences. As far as performance and horsepower and all that stuff, they're identical, so I don't really need to do a comparison video, but of course I'm going to be reviewing the creme de la creme, the Ultra.
That one there's the penis pump.
So the fine folks over at SuperBox reached out to me and asked me if I could review some of their new line, and yes, they were sent to me by SuperBox. So I said, of course. Make sure you guys are using all of these legally. And there's a lot of stuff that I can't show you in this video, but I think if you guys have been looking into this, you understand why. Now, you know I wasn't gonna leave you guys hanging without a promo code. Of course, I'm gonna save you guys some money. Scantron 5K, put that in at checkout, save yourself 50 bucks. That's $50 off anything, the S6 line or the S7 line. Again, that's Scantron 5K, use that promo code. I will drop the link in the description so you can buy directly from SuperBox. Save yourself that money. Now, if any of you are new to the channel, please, by all means, give this video a big fat thumbs up, subscribe, share, whatever suits you. Let's go ahead and get these unboxed, dive into it, and I'll show you guys what you need to do to get up and streaming. All right, gang, let's get this thing unboxed. Here we have the SuperBox S7 Ultra. Here we go, nicely unpackaged. Got a couple antennas here on the back. So if you have range as an issue in your house, I suppose this could help. But here it is in all its glory. Got your micro SD card on the side. That's gonna give you up to 2 terabytes of extra storage. And then your USB-C right there. And we have a USB, looks like a 2.0 right there. Trying to get that to focus. That's gonna be your reset button if you wanna poke that with a little pin. On the back side, we have optic audio output. Got your Ethernet cable input for up to gigabit speeds. We also have your HDMI out. This is an infrared, so you can go ahead and plug an infrared receiver into that little post jack there. And then audio video right there. And this is gonna serve as your wall adapter is gonna plug into here. So it's got a little C cable and a cube, and you plug it in there, and that's gonna give you the power. That's pretty much the extent of it. Let's see what else is in the box. First things first, we have a nice little HDMI cable there in case you don't have one. And then we have our wall adapter right here. And then we have our remote. This one is supposed to be backlit. All right, here we go. Got the remote unwrapped, and you can see if we push a button, we have backlights on that remote. So this is the only difference between the other two models. I can show you those remotes in a moment. We can sync our power button, input button, volume up and down buttons to our TV, and we can actually turn our TV on and off and control volume with our surround sound or whatever it is you use. I'll show you how to do that in a moment. We have our hotkeys, so we can go ahead and map those to wherever we want. Got your microphone button, individual numbers if you'd like to go directly to a channel, and we have your volume up and down right here for the box itself. It matches the other ones. There's no change in the design. It's exactly the same, except it's backlit. We'll put that to the test in a moment. And then we also have our instruction manual. Again, very dumbed down, very easy. These things are very intuitive. I haven't read any of this thing yet, and I likely won't need to. Okay, just to give you a brief comparison, we have our S7 Pro unboxed right here. I don't even need to take it out of the package. It's the exact same thing as the SuperBox S7 Ultra right in front of you. Same color. You can see that the S7 Max is unboxed right here, and that actually has a blue box. Again, everything else is identical except for the flash storage. Here is the remote that comes with both the Pro and the Max, and you can see that it is identical to the Ultra, except we get the backlights on the Ultra, and this one is not backlit. Last but not least, let's talk about the specs that all three of these boxes share. We've already gone over the differences in flash onboard storage for the three models. That's the only difference. Also got the backlit remote just for the S7 Ultra. That being said, we are looking at Android 12 for all three models. Processor is a quad-core ARM Cortex A53. GPU is a Mali G31 MP2. We have 4 gigabytes DDR RAM for all 3 models. Storage, 128 just on the Ultra. And then we have Wi-Fi dual band, Wi-Fi 6 that is supported on all 3 models. Ethernet is 1 gigabit per second with a hardwired connection. Video decoder is H.265, that's capable of 6K at 60 FPS. Power supply, 5 volts, 2 amps. And then we have Bluetooth at 5.2 for all 3 models and USB 3.0. Okay, gang, let's get this remote synced up. Very important step here. We want to make sure it works with the TV too. It just makes it that much more convenient to rock one remote. In order to do that, we are going to press and hold the power button at the top, the one that is meant for your TV inputs. And we're going to wait until that lights up. And then we're going to press it again to make sure it's ready to pair. And you can see it's ready to pair. So we're going to go ahead and push the power button on our other remote. Now you can see we're synced up there. Let's go ahead and sync the volume down button so we can see it's ready to sync. Go ahead and push volume down on your other controller, and then the volume down will be synced. And let's do volume up. And then we're gonna do volume up on the other control. And volume up is now synced. We hit any other button to go ahead and clear that out. Now we have the TV and the box controls, so let's give it a rip. All right, here we go. First boot, got it hooked up to a TV. You can see I got the box in the shot just so you can see what it does. Went through our little splash screen, and then here, of course, is their disclaimer. You're gonna have to click agree. So the screen following the disclaimer screen is actually your Wi-Fi setup. I'm not big on showing my networks and all that jazz, so I went ahead and connected to Wi-Fi, and now we are on the very next screen. This is going to be your screen size, and you're going to use up and down on the wheel there, and that's going to choose your screen size. So you can see it starts to have a black box around the outer edge, and you're going to keep hitting up or down until it completely fills the screen. Mine is automatically filled at 96%. If you go any further than that, you're just going to be stretching. We are at the home page, so basically your hub, and you can see we just use the remote here and navigating left and right, up and down with the wheel. And we can back out of whatever we go into by hitting that back button right here. So with that being said, SuperBox operates a little bit differently than some of the other things that I have reviewed. Your first thing you're going to see is your live TV. So if we click on live TV, and again, everything is done by hitting OK in the center of the remote. So let's go to live TV, and you're going to see that there is nothing there. So the way that SuperBox does it is they have you add your own apps. SuperBox uses the Blue apps. So it's Blue TV and Blue VOD. And you have to physically go in, and there is a tutorial link that tells you how to do it. I can drop that in the description as well. For all intents and purposes, we are going to be using the Blue apps that are basically the flagship apps for the SuperBox. There are other apps too, but I'm not going to be diving into all of that. And then also you can go down to the bottom here. You can delete things. You got your internet speeds, clean up. This is going to be your media folder. And then we're going to go over here to the left. We have settings. Now, if we go into settings, you can see that there are different things you can do. You can take a look at your apps. You can look at device preferences. Now, I like to set mine up, if it allows, I like to set it up so that when you hit the power button on the remote, it puts it into a sleep or a suspend state. But there is not an option to do that on these particular boxes. So with that being said, you're just going to turn it on and let it go through its boot process every time. And then other than that, you're off and running. So let's go ahead and back out of here, and we are back into the main page. So one thing that you guys are going to see is there is a little LED that flickers. Every time you hit a command on the box, you'll see that it has a little red light flicker there. If that's something you're into, great. If not, it could easily be covered up with a piece of black electric tape. And then all the way over to the right here, you're going to see that we have your customer support. So if you'd like to scan those QRs and reach out to customer support, that option is available. Let's do the cleanup here. So basically what it's going to do is go ahead and clean up anything. If you have something that's lagging or it's going to free up some system memory, you can do that. You can set other apps to be pinned in the store. So let's go into App Store. See here, you already have the Play Store. You can add another app. Now let's say you want to use a different browser. Let's click on Browser 2. We're going to back out of here, and now you can see that when you go into App Store, you have both browsers. You have browser 2 and you got the Play Store, so on and so forth. And playback, from what I understand, is if you have playback apps where maybe it's a DVR capability and you'd like to be able to have stored media where you can go in and play back things after they've aired. You have a 7-day playback on the streaming app itself through Blue TV, so I really don't think there's a need for that, but the option is there if you'd like to use it. And then of course, VOD operates the same way as live TV, so when you go in here, you have to pin your Blue VOD app. So it is a two-step process. If you'd like to actually watch TV or watch VOD, no matter what it is, you're gonna go let it boot up, go to the hub, click on this, and then you're gonna click on whatever app is there that opens up, Blue TV or Blue VOD, and then you're watching. I do like the option, which I have not found, and if you guys know that it has this, please let me know in the comments, an option to set your launcher so that it will automatically launch into whichever your preferred streaming app is. I find that very convenient. Perhaps there's a way to do it and I'm not seeing it, but as of right now, I haven't seen anything in the settings or anything that supports that. One other option you're gonna see across the bottom of the screen here is this little keyboard looking icon. So what we're gonna do there is hit OK on the remote, and then you can see you can actually program your buttons 1 through 0, and you can make them basically a quick access button. So I set number 1 to go to the video player. So let's go ahead and just go back to home. While we're sitting on home, we can press button number 1, and you can see it turns on that video player immediately. Okay, gang, so in order to get your streaming apps, basically the flagship apps that the SuperBox uses, we need to download the Blue VOD and the Blue TV app. And in order to do that, we need to download the App Store for Android. So we're going to open browser, get into our Google page, and this is all done with the remote. No big deal. Left and right. You can use the little mouse cursor right there. So bottom left, pop that in, and you can see it actually becomes a mouse cursor on the page. So we can go right up here to the address bar, and we are going to type in this address. It is 123.32158 dot, and then we're going to go down to the bottom and you go to CC. So I can now remove the mouse by popping that mouse button in again, and then down here we can just type in CC and then head on over to go. Now we are going to download this app. Let's go back into mouse mode here, and we're gonna download this bad boy. Hit OK. And we're going to go over to download. And then we're going to go ahead and let this download, and we should be able to get into the Android App Store and install what we need. All right, so now that we're back on the home screen, we've downloaded the APK. We're going to want to go down here on the bottom, hit the folder file. You can see across the top, we're going to head on over to File all the way on the right, and we're going to go down to Download. Now, it may have already been installed on here, but I'm showing you how to do this with some redundancy so that in case you do not have your App Store, you can go ahead and install it. So let's click on that. Do we want to install? Yes, we do. And we're going to go ahead and let that install real quick. And we can just go ahead and click on Open. And then now you can see that there is a disclaimer, which it makes you wait an entire 10 seconds to browse through. Now that you have your App Store APK downloaded and installed, and then you can go into your apps. Let's do that right now. So we got Blue VOD and Blue TV. You're going to pin that into the appropriate categories. It's a process. Sometimes the APK comes on the box. If it doesn't, you have to go through the steps that I just showed you. Whatever it is, that's their way of doing things. Let's go ahead and open Live TV. And then you can see that I now have the Blue TV app pinned in there. So it is that two-step process. If you'd like to add something else, you can go ahead and pin something else. But for the sake of this video, we're going to open Blue TV, and then it's going to receive the data, open things up, yada, yada. And a lot of this will be blurred out because, I will be using things that I pay for and have access to. But I just want to make sure we are, staying in our lane here. So you can see that with the remote up and down, we can go ahead and choose a channel. If we hit to the left, we can pick a category. So there's categories, you'll have favorites, all that good stuff. Let's go ahead and hit back. Let's go to this channel. So now we're on a channel, and if we want to bring that guide back up again, we're going to hit OK. And now we're going to have a full guide expanded where you can use the directional pad up and down, hold left if you want to go to your favorites. I don't have any favorites set, but I'll show you how to do that real quick. And let's say we want to favorite this channel that we're on right now. We're just going to go ahead and long press. It's hard to see because you can see that it has now been starred as a favorite. We're going to go ahead and do this next one. So now I've added a couple favorites. We're going to favorite a few of these, hit left, and then back over to the favorites menu, and you can see that I have those 3 channels are now sitting in there as favorites. And across the top, you can see that you have days of the week. So if we hold up, whoop, there we go. Better, it helps if I aim the remote at the box. You can see we can go through to future days and we can see what's airing, and we can also go back to days in the past because we have that 7-day playback, and we can choose a day. Let's say it's Wednesday the 12th, and then we just hit down and pick one of these episodes, and you can go ahead and select that episode, let it load, it'll do the time shift process, and then you can fast forward, rewind, and pause. So that is like your 7-day playback DVR feature. You can see we are back on our homepage. Let's go ahead and go to VOD, and of course we have pinned the blue VOD into that area. So we're going to hit that and we're going to let it load, receiving data, and then you can see that we are now in all of our video on demand stuff. So across the top you're going to see categories, newest, movies, TV series. There's some settings. Just like many other streaming devices, you can go ahead and let's say we select movies, and there's going to be a lot of categories at the top, filtering for year and genres and this and that, and you can see down the left side there is a ton of different streaming providers. And if we want to favorite something, we're going to go ahead and just pick whatever this is here. You can see there's 1,400 pages of movies. And you can also search. So let's pick a movie, and then we can navigate over and click add to favorite, back out of here, and then that will end up in our favorites. At the top, we can go ahead and click on search, and we can just type in whatever it is that we are looking for. So there's that. And then the same thing, if we hit back over in TV series, we're going to have the same options where we have 378 pages of TV series, and we have things categorized down the left, filtered on the top, and then we can go into search and search for individual TV series that we would like to watch. So once we back out of that, same thing goes. You can select any of these titles. Once you click on it, it'll give you the option to favorite it. And then once you go back into the main hub, you should have your favorites somewhere in here. Yep, at the bottom, you can go down here and click on favorites. And once you're in there, you're going to see anything that you have favorited, and then you can go back and enjoy that content. Key takeaways, it definitely provides the streaming services and apps that you're looking for. It's not an auto launch, so different strokes for different folks. Some people like to turn on their device and have it go straight to their hub. I prefer to have mine go back into the app or, live streaming function that I was using prior. And there's also not a way to put it to sleep, but on power on, it will boot up and do its thing, maybe 15, 20 seconds. Now, I also don't have YouTube or anything included on it, so the voice assistant is not going to be able to do much for me in that regard if I want to open another app, but let's do some testing here with that real quick. So now that we have the microphone set up here, you do have to push that. It'll ask you to sync it on the remote. It's just some, redundant setup stuff, but once you do it once, you're good to go. So let's go ahead and push the voice button on the remote here, and we're going to ask it to do something for us. Open Blue VOD. So now you can see it's opening up our Blue Video On Demand app. And then let's do, I think it's just called Blue TV. open Blue TV. And you can see it's gaining that data right now. Overall, you can add pretty much as many apps as you want or don't want, and it pretty much keeps things categorized right here. So whatever you want to pin to your live TV, you can add it. Whatever you want to pin to your VOD, you can add it. And then of course you have onboard flash memory to add whatever other media you might want to add to your box. But there you have it for the SuperBox S7 Ultra. And again, the Max and the Pro versions of the S7 do all of the exact same things. That's going to wrap up today's video. Thank you guys so much for joining me once again. And if you like anything that you saw, please like, share, subscribe. It helps. And if you guys want to save that 50 bucks, anything off of the S7 line, that's the Pro, the Max, or the Ultra, or the S6 line from SuperBox, use promo code Scantron5K, save yourself 50 bucks. I will drop the link in the description. Pick your poison. You will be off and running. And until next time, let's lose.